1, getting their visas and playing some ace matches. That is a Dota 1 tournament. So we have replaced them with MUFC, and here we are pretty much on schedule, more or less. MUFC versus DK. This is for all the marbles. This is single elimination action, so whichever team loses this series will be going home. And GoDz, this is a best out of 3, correct?
Yep, playoffs. It's still the best out of 3 format, and this, as you mentioned, is do or die. There's no second chances. This isn't the group stage where you're just getting your accumulated scores from all your matches. This is a must-win series for both teams to stay in the tournament. So we'll see what they can come up with. These two teams, they've met a couple times in the past. I think it's gone both ways on numerous occasions. They're actually in the same group, if memory serves me correctly, but they're meeting in the first round as a result of World Elite declining to play in the playoffs. So we're seeing them once again match up, and I believe it was DK who won that series 2-1. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
I believe DK, yeah, they beat MUFC 2-1. And by the way, you are sounding incredibly robotic, so let me try recalling you real quick.
No problem.
Okay, let's see. How do you sound, GoDz? How do you sound?
I don't know. Hopefully, all.
Are you talking
all
into a
roses
fan
and daisies.
by any chance?
I'm
Your
talking
voice,
into a microphone.
your voice sounds like, you know, when if you ever put your face like up against a fan and then talk through it. It sounds all metallic and strange. That's how you sound right now, but hopefully it'll settle down. So, for anyone who's wondering, it looks like we have Ken, I believe, from Aeon, standing in for MUFC. They were not able to get all 5, but they do have 4, so that's pretty good. And, well, in terms of the bans, we're seeing very standard bans all across the board, I have to say, but 2 notable heroes slipping through, Prophet and the Lycan. Which one is MUFC going to have their eyes on? It's the Prophet. Will DK take the Lycan?
Yeah, I mean, Lycan's been slipping through a lot lately. I think it was one of the things you pointed out in a thread about the statistics that Lycan, his win rate's only been sort of around 30 to 40%. It's really not been all that good.
Yeah, Lycan is in the Beyond the Sun World Tour. He's been banned the same number of times as Darkseer. By the way, if you guys have not already done so, go to Dota-Academy and check out the tournament stats, which have been updated as of the end of the group stages. And Lycan banned 42 times out of 54 games. He was not picked in 2 games. And the other 10 games that he was picked, he has a 40% win rate, winning only 4 out of 10 games. Now, some people made the argument, well, teams have strategies prepared for dealing with Lycan, and that's why when he gets through, he's losing a lot of games. To that, I would say, presumably if you let any hero that, you know, is in theory a very scary one, such as Darkseer through the pool, then you're going to have a strategy. But Darkseer has a 75% win rate, and he's been banned the same number of times, so maybe Lycan's just a bit overrated. Maybe teams are just better at handling him. But anyway, if DK won him, they certainly got him.
Yeah, and they're really thinking this one through. We'll see if they go for him or if they want to go for something else a bit more stable. There we go. Lycan is, they are on that dire side, and they pick up the Venomancer as well, so they get the defensive support hero, a strong sort of counter pusher, as well as a pusher himself, and just a great hero to get up that map control using those Plague Wards, and a strong laning hero with the Gale, one of the best level 1 slows in the game. So I like these 2 pickups. I like the Venomancer going with the Lycan. I mean, 3rd pick, I'd love to see them get another sort of defensive hero, something like a Windrunner, something like maybe an AoE crowd control hero like the Tidehunter. But MUFC, they're going to go in the aggression. There's your Windrunner. They pick up the Enchantress as well.
And apparently... Oh, that would explain it. Alright, sorry guys. The in-game audio should be fixed. I accidentally messed something up with the virtual audio cable. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. It should be good to go. Remember, there's a bit of a delay, but once you start hearing this, you should hear myself and GoDz. And GoDz, you are still a bit robotic, so if you're downloading anything, maybe try turning that off. But yeah, very aggressive lineup for MUFC. Enchantress, Prophet, Windrunner. Now, these are 3 heroes that can give Lycan a lot of trouble in the early game, but here's one that can help relieve some of that pressure on him. It's the Broodmother.
Yeah, Broodmother is going to be
looking... You sound fantastic now, by the way.
I did absolutely nothing. I popped open the chat to see how bad it was and how much people were complaining, and then I start talking again, and well, apparently it's fixed.
Well, you know, first some people were a fan of Cyborg GoDz, but others were a little bit confused. So, you know, man, you take all the heat when you mess it up, and when you get it right, well, you get the credit. So, thanks for fixing it, GoDz. Yeah. Thank you for fixing it.
Well, Broodmother, anyways, I like this pick. Like you said, it's a hero that can create space for Lycan to farm. It's probably just going to go soloing that bottom lane And it's going to make it harder for MUFC to be as aggressive as they like, because I imagine MUFC were hoping to send a tri-lane top with this Enchantress. It's what they normally like to do when they get the Enchantress and these aggressive laning heroes. A great way to shut down a Lycan. But with the Broodmother at bottom, they'll need a hero that can go head-to-head in a 1v1 matchup, or they need to put multiple heroes there with Sentry Wards. So I feel Broodmother does work very well with the Lycan pick.
Yeah, we just finished up with our second stage of the bans, and a few bans worth pointing out here. I think the biggest two are the Morphling ban by MUFC. Now, I'm not sure Bernie would play Morphling, but it just shows you that MUFC, they are familiar with DK's style. They're familiar with how DK normally would game, so that is generally when Morphling gets a strong hard carry. Morphling probably the most successful hard carry in the scene right now, even more so than old favorites like Anti-Mage. And for DK, they ban out the Templar Assassin, so paying some respect towards Nick, although I guess he's not playing this game, so maybe it's just respect towards Ken the stand-in, who does occasionally play that semi-carry role. So, we'll have to see, but Templar Assassin, a strong hero, getting banned out, and where do MUFC go from here?
Well, I mean, they need to decide whether or not they're going to stick with that maybe aggressive tri-lane top, whether they maybe just send the Nature's Prophet as a side lane solo and get an aggressive dual lane for bottom. They often run that Tiny. We may see them picking up that. They do need another support hero here. I mean, unless they're running Windrunner as a support, but I imagine that's not the case. So picking up some kind of dual jungle to go with the Enchantress, whether it's a Shadow Demon, a Tide Hunter, maybe the Vengeful Spirit, which they use quite a bit, would be a good way to start things off. And then they can see what DK want to get and then adjust from there, whether they play Windrunner safe lane. But they're going to go with the Beastmaster. So there's a great counter to both Brood and Lycan. This is a really cool hero. You've got the Aura as well. You've got some nice right-click DPS from Windrunner, Prophet, and Enchantress. I feel this is almost the ideal pick for MUFC here.
Yeah, and it gives you great spam to help deal with those Spiderlings. I love everything about this pick, and it also gives them a hero who can handle that difficult late if he needs to do so. But maybe we're going to see an offlane Beastmaster. Maybe it'll be a Beastmaster mid and a Windrunner in the offlane. In fact, they even have a Prophet they could throw down there. So MUFC definitely have their options wide open with these picks. And, well, you talked about they probably do need a support now. I would say they have a few heroes who can maybe share that load. Perhaps they don't need a hard support. But ideally, someone who could buy a couple pairs of wards, isn't too item dependent, would be a good way to go. And that's one thing MUFC don't really have, is a strong hard carry. But between the Prophet as well as the Windrunner, they have some good semi-carry options. And also heroes who could just get ahead in terms of items early on. Look to control the map before Lycan even has a chance to contribute. Shadow Shaman the pick for DK. They do love, as well as most of the Chinese teams, they do love that support Shadow Shaman. Just doing a lot of pulls early on, getting up the early levels. Trying to get 6 and maybe a pair of Arcane Boots as quickly as possible. And then using that to push to roam around the map. So we'll see where he's laning, but especially with Broodmother on the team, this frees up your laning options as well. We could have Broodmother, Spiderlings jungling with Shadow Shaman. Now they already have a Lycan and a Brood, so maybe it will be a solo Shadow Shaman. But generally this is a support, at least the way DK normally plays it.
Yeah, they can even send Shadow Shaman to the bottom lane with the Brood in the dual lane there and just play very safe and defensively if it's a tough lane. So I think this is very versatile. They've got plenty of options. They can run it in mid, they can run it as support. MUFC, they pick up the Tide, and this to me looks like a support hero to go with the Enchantress. It can go 1v1 against the Brood, but I think they're more likely to play as a support. But I mean, with that said, it could easily be Windrunner in the support role, put something like the Windrunner, even Windrunner Prophet Enchantress at top with the Tide at bottom, the Beastmaster at mid. But then they've also got the Beastmaster, another hero can go up against Brood. So I think Tide is going to be the support, and MUFC, if they like, they can still send the aggressive tri-lane bottom. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are we looking at an aggressive tri-lane in the top lane, or is it going to be just up against the Brood?
5 seconds.
I guess the question is, they really don't have the... Yeah, I guess they could tri-lane. I'm just thinking about which heroes would combo together. Tidehunter, Windrunner, Enchantress, not a bad tri-lane if you want to go that route. There's not amazing synergy between these heroes, but you do have Gush. That helps set up Enchantress with her tower dive, with her slow and her creeps getting range. Windrunner is a strong harassment here on a tri-lane. She's normally not going to get too many kills, but if you want to run the tri-lane, then you have Prophet to sort of back things up and set you up, as well as Beastmaster, probably in a quick level 6, so I think it could work. At DK, they go for a hero that has a lot of potential with the Lycan. Its puck can set everything up, hold heroes in place while Lycan does the right clicks. With that Dream Coil, I love the synergy between these two. But DK need to get these early levels, and frankly in the laning stage, Puck, Shadow Shaman, and Lycan, not very strong laning heroes, so DK are going to have their work cut out for them. Let's go ahead and introduce them formally. We have rotk playing that Broodmother, Zippo on the Venomancer, longdd going to be playing the Puck, and in fact he's playing support. Sentry Ward's picked up Super on the Shadow Shaman. Is this going to be a solo mid Shadow Shaman? It just might. And then finally, of course, we have Burning on that hard carry, playing the Lycan. He only has a Quelling Blade. Interesting.
Yeah, this is very interesting, Dean. I mean, you mentioned especially the Puck playing a support role. I expect maybe Puck in the mid lane, but they're not going to opt for that. Over on the MUFC side, we do see Ken, the stand-in, playing on the winner, and we've got Net playing the Tidehunter in the support role, and then Ling, as per usual, playing the jungle role on the Enchantress. TFG, or Garfield, playing the Nature's Prophet. He looks to be heading towards the mid lane, and then finally, GoDz or Sharky, going under a different name today, is playing the Beastmaster. He's heading towards the bottom lane, so it's going to be Beastmaster versus Brood. Prophet up against the Shadow Shaman, and then Trilin versus Trilin at top, and this is a Puck Trilin. This is something not all that ordinary.
Well, it is the dire side of the map, so if they want to pull, they have so many options to do it, and we've seen a lot of this out of the Chinese teams in this tournament. Pulls from here to here. I'm just drawing all over the map, guys, showing all the various pulls, and well, if they want to do it, they can pull to literally any jungle camp using those particular pull patterns. Now, if you're pulling that much against an aggressive tri-lane, that can be very dangerous, especially if you do the pull to the safe camp. It means your supports are a long way from home if that lane ends up needing help. We'll have to see who's actually getting the farm here. As you know, longdd picked up the Sentry Wards, gave them to Zippo. Generally, you'd expect longdd to get that farm. But with Burning and the looks to be in the jungle, this is going to be very interesting. DK, I mean, they had a lineup where you'd expect them to struggle maybe in the early stages of this game. But look at the aggression from MUFC, warding the small camp, also warding the rune here. So they're going to have great vision if any pulls are attempted. And they might not even go for the heroes doing the pulls or the heroes doing the jungling. They may just use this to set up tower dives on the top lane.
Yeah, and Enchantress not even worried about blocking half those camps in the aggressive jungle. They're going to find Zippo as well here. Enchantress just poking around, but there's still one big camp. The big camp over on the left's been blocked by a Sentry Ward, so there's just the one big camp that Ling has to work with, as well as the creep pool. So it's not going to be all that many options for Ling here. Although with a Centaur very early on, he's actually heading towards Zippo very, very fast. And Zippo needs to be careful with his positioning here in the top river.
Oh, and here we go, Ling doing the big dewarding. That's going to make life a little less pleasant. And what we'll have to see, is he going to get cut off here? He wants to regroup and head mid, but the Centaur blocks him up. Zippo just cannot find the opening. The slow cooling down on Ling lane. Around comes Tidehunter from the other side. Is Zippo going to find a way out of here, guys? He's looking pretty trapped. Gale hits on 2. The Centaur, great body block coming out there from Ling, showing off his jungle skills. But Zippo, for the moment, still alive. There you go, the Prophet TP. Needs to body block this one. He will perfectly. Gush comes in. 1 or 2 more right clicks. Perfect chain stun. Perfect team coordination there. MUFC get a first blood. At DK, they were going to struggle here in the laning stage, but giving up that first blood, not the start they were looking for.
Yeah, it's not. But Veno, I mean, he managed to at least waste as much time as possible. Not just the Enchantress, but the Tide, the Prophet had to come in. Shadow Shaman used to get some free last hits. Burning used it to enter the enemy jungle. Burning's down there, farming pretty happily. He's not being put under too much pressure. And with the 3 clarities they started with, should have a decent time. So I think all in all, it's what MUFC wanted to get that early first blood, but it did take a lot of resources to do so.
Well, with that early first blood, Burning beating the enemy jungle, they're not going to be able to slow down the Lycan. And if they leave this lane to go deal with Burning, that means a lot more freedom for longdd and Zippo to get the farm in the lane, to do the pulling. We'll have to see what MUFC's priorities are. For the moment, they've dewarded pretty much everything, so they have free access towards that middle lane if they want to take it, and it looks like they are going to roam over that way. Not even going to bother to hit level 2 on Enchantress. This means if they tower dive and things go wrong, there won't be that heal available, but here we go. Net Invis rune picked up, scouting things out. Super great map awareness, and played it pretty safe, hugging the tower. Let's take a look at the bottom lane, where we actually see GoDz leading the way, 13-4 on that Beastmaster, having a great time. rotk only 8-3, struggling a bit here. And this is a lane you expect Beastmaster to do well in, but I would say Brood should at least be able to break even. Needs to be careful with those spiderlings not to feed them too much, and as she levels up, should have a better time.
Ooh, and Tide finds Burning here at the bottom lane. He's invis for another couple of seconds here. They will need maybe Beastmaster to come as well, or a Prophet TP. This could be bad for Burning. He's being right-clicked down. Will Prophet TP for this? Here comes Beastmaster. Prophet TP is there. I don't think they're going to need it. Axes from Sharky, finish him off, and that's another kill going the way of MUFC.
Lane's still in the enemy jungle, and well, they didn't even have to leave him out of that, move him out of that top lane, so he's available to come pressure top, and he does need to do so. Ken already hitting level 4. That level 3 power shot is gonna hurt like a absolute mother if they decide to tower dive this one. Ling gonna summon the tornado. No, it's on cooldown for 15 seconds. Will be available soon. Bottom lane, there goes the harassment. ROTK finally getting a little bit of control back over this lane. Beastmaster, what build will he go for? It looks like the Soul Ring, maybe a pair of Tranquil Boots to follow this as well. Just for the moment, only the Soul Ring, but we'll have to see. That does seem to be the preferred build on a lot of these strength heroes, like the Tidehunter, the Beastmaster, to help deal with that. And well, overall, it seems like a pretty, I wanted to say a pretty even start. MUFC having a bit of an edge, but we do expect that in the laning stage. I still feel DK have the kind of lineup that can really come back here in the mid game if they don't fall behind too much.
Absolutely. I mean, the first 5 or so minutes is not really where the DK lineup shines. They've got the farming Lycan in the jungle. They've got Brood, who's sort of an offlane hero just there to apply pressure. But DK have done a decent job. They've really shut down Ling, I have to say. He's only level 2. I mean, you mentioned that earlier when he tried to gank mid, didn't even have the heal. He is really leveling very slowly. And that's sort of a bit of concern because Enchantress can quickly become somewhat phased out and a very squishy, easy to feed hero. So I feel Ling being a bit under-leveled at the moment is a key thing for MUFC that they're going to have to try solve somewhere along the lines, but it's not really happening in the enemy jungle.
Well, this might help him out. Look, sees Burning already level 4, and will they actually go in on him? No, they're going to drive him out a little bit. He heads back to the safety of that tri-lane. Courier going for a delivery, actually scouts out Ling as well as the Tidehunter, and in super comes. He's only level 5, but once Ling, is he going to disable him in time? The neck comes out, the Wolf's doing the right click, the orb flies in, Ling's going to melt, and now they turn their attention towards Net. Net's going to take a fall as well, and the double jungle, it was a good start, but I think their 5 moments of fame here are over. It's going to be a lot harder now. Shadow Shaman almost hitting level 6 off of that, and with the wards up, he can really punish them if he catches them in the jungle again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that at this point in the game, when you're level 2, level 3 in the enemy jungle, and there's basically four enemy heroes who can be there any second. The only one who's not anywhere nearby is the Brood. I mean, Shadow Shaman at mid, you've got the Jewel lane at top, you've got the Lycan who rotated towards the top jungle. It was a dangerous, risky position for those two heroes to be in, and they paid for it. Prophet, he needs to sort of get more involved now. You saw him throw the ultimate there, didn't actually make too much with it. So we'll see whether or not maybe MUFC just play this a bit safer. Enchantress is heading towards her own jungle. Tide actually heading bottom as well. They may look to gank this Brood here, especially with Beastmaster having the Roar up. He will have to wait for his Soul Ring to come off cooldown, but with the Roar, with those Sentry Wards, they can easily kill this Brood. Really, really great play from ROTK. Sending the Spylings in the jungle, not only can you get a bit of farm, but you can also scout things out. May see this Tide coming in soon.
Yeah, love that play by him. Scouting as well as farming, being as efficient as possible with every unit under his command. And Prophet probably not going to be too aggressive at the current moment as he just picked up a hand of Midas. TFG, very fast Midas from him. Did he actually get a kill? Yeah, he is 1-0-0, so that'll definitely help speed up your Midas. I think that was actually the first blood going his way. So that'll help, and with that picked up, he's going to have a pretty good time of it. But this is not aggressive build. He's not going for an early earn. He's not going for that quick mechanism like we see of Shao 8, where he's constantly showing up the team fights around. He's playing this one a bit more safely and playing it for the mid game here with the farm more. In the middle lane, Super has the wards picked up, but Prophet just constantly spamming tramps, trying to keep him pushed back. We'll have to see, does Super actually find an opening to use these wards soon? This is something to keep an eye on whenever you have a Shadow Shaman in the game. When he uses his ward, does he get kills? Does he get towers? Oh, Sprout onto RTK, bottom lane, Gush, Roar to follow, Axis to fly, RTK, Prophet ult even thrown in, everything to try and get this kill. And meanwhile, top lane, Ken, already level 7, Shackle gonna hit on longdd, will not matter though, Burning chomps him to bits. And they get desperately need to kill on Ken, who's been leading the way here in terms of farm. So a kill's being traded top and bottom. The question now becomes, guys, who's going to have a better time of it in terms of getting these towers? And it looks to me like MUFC should. I believe they will.
Yep. Well, Shadow Shaman decides not to drop his wards at mid lane. He had an open tower there, but it would have maybe got the tower down to about half HP. Probably not killed. He's going to swing all the way top. And it looks like we'll see tier 1 tower trade as the top tower should go down. But MUFC, I don't know if they're going to be done pushing here. They can keep on at least applying a bit of pressure here. Whether or not they can get the next tower, maybe a bit of a tough ask. But for the moment, Ken back top with a level 4 power shot. That's a great way to hold off this push. And takes out the creep wave and pops a glyph. And it looks like MUFC trying to keep this tower alive for as long as possible.
Yeah, they're going to lose a tier 2 on the bottom lane. The glyph is available, but DK is just holding on to it. They know it's not going to be enough, although I'm a little surprised. Oh, Shackle into longdd. He's going to go down. Ken up against the tri-lane at times. Well, he gets a solo kill. Prophet's still not really helping out too much in that lane, but Ken doesn't seem to need it. The stand-in doing a great job here, making his presence felt, and this is where MUFC can really have the advantage, take advantage of that Lycan pickup, of the Broodmother pickup. Very strong pushing heroes if they get their start, but at this point in the game, they can't offer nearly as much as a Prophet or a level 8 Windrunner. Oh boy, Ken almost with a maxed out shackle shot. That could be big trouble for DK.
Yeah, this Windrunner is really leveling fast, and not only the phase boots being up very quickly, 1k gold, I mean that's either a 4-staff halfway to that, or he's halfway to a mech, so we're going to have a very fast utility item coming up on this Windrunner, and that's going to make it a lot harder for DK to start pushing. You can have the Lycan walls being spammed off, you can have just Shadow Shaman being spammed a bit, and if he gets hit by a power shot, he almost has to back off or at least chew through a couple bottle charges, so it's not going to be the easiest lane for him. rotk at bottom is actually going for this fast Midas build, which is a very popular thing by a lot of these Chinese players on Brood, and it's just to sort of basically accelerate your farm and catch up on levels, as well as sort of really pull away in terms of farm, and you just play sort of towards a mid to late game Brood. You're not really looking to continually pressure and push down towers using Spiderlings. It's all about getting your hero farmed.
Well, I think he actually might have the opportunity to use this game is MUFC, they desperately need levels on the Tidehunter as well as the Enchantress. Enchantress still not getting that impetus yet. And more importantly, Tidehunter, no Ravage for him. Until this Ravage is up, it will be pretty dangerous to take a team fight. Venomancer already level 5, spamming the Plague Ward to the middle lane, and more importantly, that Puck, as well as the Shadow Shaman, both hitting 6. If you ever try and tower dive this DK lineup and you don't have Ravage, a well-placed Dream Coil, a Silence, the Shadow Shaman disables on the wards, that can really punish over aggression. So for me, that's the big thing for MUFC. Need to get that Ravage up. He's already got Arcane Boots, so getting some decent farm in spite of all that roaming. But while he's farming, while he's getting that level 6, it does free up rotk to complete the Midas, start working towards his boots. It will still be a while before he contributes, but I think that's okay for now. DK not being under too much pressure at this point in the game.
Ooh, and Soup is smoked up. He's going to possibly swing towards top lane, maybe middle lane. It looks like he is heading top. May try find this Windrunner Ken, who is going for that fast 4-staff, just 600 gold away from that. But Super not finding quite the opening he's after. There is a lane ward there for DK, so if he does come too close, they will see him, but it looks like nothing too much happening. I like what DK are doing, though. I mean, they've got Shadow Shaman moving around the map with smoke. They've got Venomancer at mid, just holding the lane with his Plague Wards. He can get a bit of levels. He can get some farm there, get his Arcane Boots up, start building towards maybe a mech for his team, or even just in like an Urn of Shadow, something cheap, something cost-effective, and he's going to get a bit of farm at this mid lane.
They go on Ken, they catch him up with the silence. Shackle not available because he was silenced. Great dodge there of the auto attack. In comes Prophet, ward trap. Oh, TFG has the TP out now. Will he be able to get away? No, there's the secondary Hex. He goes down. Double kill for Super. And crucially, they kill off a Windrunner who almost had a 4-staff. They kill off a Prophet who has been getting some great farm. And this frees up time for the Lycan. It frees up time for the Broodmother. And being on this dire side, gods, it is only a matter of time before Burning looks towards that Roshan. Speaking of Burning, Medallion up, Vlad's up, getting all the core items. Maybe a minute or two slower than you would like in a free farm situation, but he's almost tied up here with a Beastmaster. Oh, I hear a roar. Middle lane, it's on to Zippo. They go. Gush. Ravage to hit on 2. Super taking a lot of damage from the Anchor Smash. Held in place under the tower. The Imp's doing big damage. Oh, Beastmaster dropping low. Shackle shot not going to hit. One more right click will bring him down. Bernie. Oh, sprouted in with 2. TFG creates an absolute death trap for his own team. And Bernie, will he turn this one around? That ultimate cooling down soon. He will be forced back, but he gets a double kill. And that is a player, that is a hero you don't want to be giving kills away to. Still, they get the kills, and now they look to turn the pressure onto the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, the way Burning's playing, he's not just farming in this jungle. That's the second time he's come out. First it was for that kill on mid, at top when they killed the winner, and now he comes mid for the double kill. So really nice awareness from him, as well as just timing it. So when he comes to a lane, he's going to make sure he gets either a kill, some towers, something accomplished. Puck at mid actually drops a Dream Coil.
Oh, completely
not going to accomplish all too much with that. Yeah, completely whiffed it, and DK now looks like they've held their mid tier 1 tower. They're going to push it back. They could go for this tier 1 enemy tower here, or they may just try swing on in, have Brood applying pressure bottom, and go for that Roshan that you mentioned a bit earlier as Medallion Vlad's up on Lycan. They can get that pretty quickly, and Lycan's actually got a smoke of his own, so he can always sneak his way in there, and he's going to do that with Super.
Here's my concern for MUFC right now. They don't have a Ravage up. They're up against a Brood constantly pressuring this bottom lane. Even if they kill off the Brood, it's going to take at least 2-3 heroes. That means what we're seeing right now, which Burning going to the Roshan pit. But it could be more than that. It could be the tier 1 getting pushed mid. It could be that tier 2 getting pushed top. For MUFC, this is that point in the game where maybe they start to get spread too thin. And it's going to be really tough for them to deal with the maneuvering, the constant pressure of the rotk on bottom lane, as well as the Lycan getting Roshan, pressuring the top and mid. And, well, they're going to go on RTK. They will pick them off in relatively short order here. Prophet ult bounces through. But a Brit Mother Death for Roshan, not a bad trade at all. And now Burning, 1,000 gold in the bank. And I guess we have to wonder at this point, what will Burning go for? Will it be that team fight oriented build, something like a BKB? Will it be a bit more of a pushing style build with the Necro 3? Your thoughts?
Well, I'd say it's just going to go looking probably at a BKB here, even against the Beastmaster Raw, just with the Shackle Shot, the Tide Ravage. He's going to be able to get shut down if he goes for a Necrobook field. So I feel going for the BKB is maybe the better option here. But I feel that, like you mentioned earlier, they're just spreading MUFC very thin. I mean, we see Brood going down there, but that's Brood's job. Not to die, but to just get that farm up. He's got treads, he's got a Midas up, he's got plenty of farm, plenty of levels. Dying like that does not really hurt the Brood. It does sort of slow down his farm a bit. It gives MUFC a bit of gold to work with, but all in all, that's still DK getting a better trade, even when Brood gets picked off like that.
Here's the other thing for DK. If they get up their double blink daggers, they're going to have such great mobility around the map. Between the Brood, the Lycan already being very fast, very mobile, very hard to track down. And then having your double blink combination. longdd is a while off, but the Puck is very close. Or sorry, not the Puck. The Shadow Shaman being played by Super. Very close. Almost has his level 2 ultimate as well. Only about 400 experience over that, and that'll be a big pickup. So, to me, that's what DK wanted. Spread the map, use that time to get some farm up on your Shadow Shaman, your support heroes. Oh, this is not the way to get that farm up. Gush is going to hit. Super looks to be absolutely dead. There's a Dark Troll Warlord here, actually two. He gets the TP. Super caught out, just trying to buy time. He will go down. Power Shot finishes him off. No real trade-off happening, and in fact, Beastmaster is going to leave this bottom lane coming top. They really want to knock down this tier 1. But the question is, can they do it in time? Because already, in comes the push mid. Prophet, don't think he's going to be able to hold this one off alone. Gale hits on the creep. Everything being used just to try and eliminate this buffer here. And MUFC going for the trade.
Yeah, I don't think they've got all that much pushing power in this mid lane, DK. So MUFC will get a town. I think they can get back and defend, although they've got to defend both mid and bottom. Burning's alone at bottom lane now. So I think that's going to be where the bigger pushing threat comes. I think this mid lane is just sort of acting as a distraction. They're not actually going to be able to get this tier 1 mid tower unless MUFC fully commit. MUFC, actually no, they're going to have a TP back. It's Enchantress first. They'll probably have someone TP in the front lines here. And now we're going to look for a counter again. Prophet TPing in. They're looking for Venomancer. Sprout down. Ken should be able to get a shackle shot here. Zippo not shackled up. It was a bit too late. And Zippo actually gets the tower with the Plague Wards here. He's going to not survive. Power shot cleans him up. And it is a pick off there. But MUFC, they lose both bottom and mid tier 1 towers. Not to mention, now Lycan, he has gone for the Necrobook. So proving me wrong. Not a BKB. Going all out with the pushing power.
It gives you a lot of damage in these fights, but the issue for Birdie is he really going to be able to do the right clicks? And to me, I don't think he is. Roar, Sprout can hold you in place, and even a second or two where you have to use that Quelling Blade, fumble around for it, if you will, can be pretty devastating. Plus the Ravage, as well as the Minotaur from Gush, he can drop pretty fast, especially if he's using that Medallion. So this is just a sign that DK really want to avoid these confrontations, avoid the direct team fights. And until they have their double blink, I think it is the correct play. They need that Puck to have his blink silence, they need the Shadow Shaman for the blink hex, which is max now, as well as maybe a blink trap. So I like this decision from DK as long as they can keep the map spread, and we'll have to see if they're able to. That's really going to be the story of this game over the next couple minutes. RTK spawning some Spiderlings in that Hawk, just brutal animal on animal violence coming out here on the bottom. Now harassing that too.
This isn't the Discovery Channel, but sometimes it does appear that way. But ROTK, I mean, he's got 2k gold. He's already sort of jumped up. That's a BKB halfway completed, unless he wants to go for some additional pushing power. Could go for Necrobook, could go for a damage item, but I feel BKB is still a nice way to go, even when you're up against the Beastmaster Or. There's so much lockdown elsewhere. With the Shackle Shots, the Tide Ravage, so it's still worthwhile getting that BKB. And I imagine Lycan will go for one after he's completed his Necrobook 3. Speaking of which, he's got enough for a Necrobook 2, so he's got a lot of farm coming up very, very quickly here. And MUFC, well, Prophet, he's got an ultimate orb, he's got 1400 gold, he's going to TP towards the mid lane. Ken gets ward trapped here. Ken is a bit of trouble. Raw goes off. Zippo gets brought up, and he's going to be able to... Raw, no, he is going to go down. Big Tide Ravage taking out most of the DK team, and DK taking big losses here. Puck going to be the last one, unless he can get an orb off. It's cooldown. 5 more seconds. longdd trying to phase shift out of it, and he's going to go down. MUFC pick up 3 heroes at the mid lane.
Here's the problem right now for DK. Their supporting cast is getting caught out and doesn't have those core items to be able to deal with it right now. Burning gets a tower top. That is a tier 2 that he knocks down, so 3 heroes dead for a tier 2. Not a great trade, not a horrible one, but losing this tier 2 mid would be a big problem. We'll have to see if they can defend it. TP comes back from the Venomancer, just respawn, and Zippo tangos his way. Just had one more tango. Love the fact that Zippo had a tango 18 minutes into the game to deal with this Beast Master. There you go, there's a Blink Dagger up on the puck. Now the Shadow Shaman, actually, he has one as well. So now they have the double blink at that point where DK can try to get the element of surprise here. Double blink combination and look for the pickoffs. Then once they get a kill or two, that's where you can look to push down tower. This lineup does push very quickly. So it's a bit of a loss for DK, but I think with these double blink daggers, they'll be in a much better position to try and get the jump. We saw in that fight, MUFC had the total jump. And DK with some good wards of should not get caught unawares again.
Yeah, I think in terms of farm, this game's still very much in the balance here. MUFC have a slight edge on the ganking front, but because DK are playing split, going for this more split push-oriented play, they've got the Brood farming one lane, like in another, the other 3 heroes somewhere else. Brood's gone for a mindset. They're actually ahead by about 2k XP here, nothing that big of a lead. If anything, I wouldn't even call it a lead at this point. It's going to come down to the decision-making and the strategies used by the 2 teams from here on out as to who sort of pulls away, but I feel DK do have the more mobile lineup, and they're going to look to exploit the fact that they can do that. Profit at top, he's in a bit of trouble here. There's your Blink Dagger on longdd. Silence will come, TFG, teleport gets cancelled, and he's going to go down.
Well, the Blink Dagger picked up on Puck. Immediately they turn it into a kill, and of all the heroes to kill, Profit probably the best one to kill because, like you said, mobility is the name of the game for DK, and Profit can really try and match that with his TP. ROTK, 3.8k cold in the bank. If he wants that BKB, he's got it. Maybe he's going to save for something else, like a Manta style. Although MUFC do have a lot of AoE. I would expect the BKB here, but you just never know. And Burning, he's breaching high ground. Not really trying to get the racks here, just trying to force some TPs back. And this is where that split push really comes into play. Not quite level 16. Oh, he might pay for this with his life. Burning has overextended. Slowed up, he will go down. That ult going down 20 seconds. Should die twice here. A shackle shot will be more than sufficient. Even just a gush might be enough. Oh, 15 seconds ago. Ravage used. They didn't realize the ult was down. So at least Burning baits that out. But still, a death he really didn't want to give up. But the bottom lane, RTK with that split push pressure. DK is being absolutely aggravated right now for MUFC. Even when MUFC get good pickoffs, DK still forcing them to defend, forcing them to play on the back foot.
Yeah, and then DK will find a hero kill or two, like they're looking to do so at TFG on bottom, and it looks like he's going to go down. It's because MUFC are being so spread around, they just open the gates to have these pickoffs come, and great shackle shot, ROTK as well as longdd. Power shot to follow, and I don't think there's enough damage though. Buyback coming from Nature's Prophet, they really wanted those pickoffs there. It's the only reason TFG would have brought back there, but he's not going to find openings. He's just going to go back and farm, although he is going to TP in mid. Zippo in a bit of trouble. He's got the tangos. He can get out of the sprout, but I don't think it's going to matter. Is there a roar?
Oh,
there's no
roar.
One impetus. It doesn't land. It's going to follow him back to Phantom. It will get disjointed, but wow, just narrowly surviving that one.
Well, that early vitality booster picked up GoDz. That's what did it. That's what kept them alive. And Zippo looks to be going for a Necronomicon 3 here. He's a long way from it, but he has the Belt of Giant Strength. No, okay, that's somebody else's Belt of Giant Strength. Never mind. I was going to say Zippo's really farming well. But in fact, that was not his. So, DK, it feels like MUFC are a little bit frustrated that Profit buyback not accomplishing too much. Even if he got the Venomancer, Profit buyback to kill a support Venomancer, really not a good trade. Because this Profit getting pretty close to the site device, and that buyback is going to slow him down quite a bit. So I feel MUFC getting a little frustrated right now, need to keep their composure up. Gem up on Vegeta, try to keep that map control. But this is a game where I feel wards are actually not all that important, except for Roshan, which Bernie is scouting out. He's a few minutes early. But even if you see... The problem isn't seeing what DK are doing. For the most part, MUFC know what they're doing. It's just a matter of getting there in time. Like you said, the maneuverability of this team, a bit too much to deal with right now.
Yeah, they can only really deal with one or maybe two of the different lanes, different threats at a time. They are going to find ROTK at bottom. Raw is up, and with that gem, he should be able to get this kill. Oh, Orchid, followed up by a TP out. Not going to be in time. ROTK will still drop. Ken getting there just in time. It was a smart little bit of play from ROTK, but it didn't really work out for him, as he does go down the bottom lane.
And here's the question, was that Orchid, is that going to be the correct choice this game? It is great against these MUFC heroes and these small-scale engagements, but when MUFC come to gank you, they're not coming with one, they're coming with multiple heroes. We've seen it all game, at least 3, if not 4. With that death by Broodmother, they're going to try and force some TPs back. Probably not going to go commit to this Rex. But we'll have to see, they have the mech up, Ken working towards the site device, no other big items just yet. Ravage is available if they want to go. godzstudios scythed up. Great ward trap coming out from Super, and godzstudios should be going down here. Roar Blink in to the Ravage. Tidehunter did just pick up a Blink Dagger. Great timing there by Net. They get one. Can they get more? Immediate buyback by Super. Zippo really tanky here with the Urn. Will go down. And Burning. Where is Burning? Is the question right now. He's actually in base. Used the ult that was forced to run away, dropping very low. They forced a couple of buybacks, and now I think it's a great time to go and back off. And in fact, they're going to do just that. So MUFC, they take the fight to DK, and they make it work.
And if they get Roshan here, that's a great little pickup for them. They're very, very low in HP, and I think they're expecting DK to come try counter this. So they're going to sort of lay a little trap here. No Ravage up. Super, Blink, Hex. It goes down on Tidehunter, but immediately Puck gets insta-KO'd. Shackle shot, power shot. The DPS coming from MUFC here is just proving to be a bit too much. rotk trying to lifesteal his way out of this one. Not going to manage to happen. Burning now. No ultimate. Shackle to a tree. Burning could go down. MUFC have done it. They've repelled DK, and they've now created an opening to maybe even get a Rax here.
Well, first it was MUFC being frustrated, but they turned that frustration into a bunch of kills. And now they're going to go high ground. Gush onto Zippo. Roar cooling down in 5 seconds. Even if they kill him, not sure they should be diving, but in comes the Prophet CP, and they'll get the pick up there. Prophet now with 4k gold. They're going to get Rex, and then they can turn into Roshan, or maybe even turn 2. No, they can't turn 2 because the tier 2s are still up, so probably Roshan will be the next objective here. MUFC, what a fight, and we're seeing some of the weaknesses of DK's lineup. When they're forcing on those direct engagements, something they really wanted to avoid, that's why we see the Necro 3 up on Burning. But they don't have the best heroes to deal with it. Like it when his ult is down, cannot really engage. Even when he does run in, he does have the BKB, getting Shackle repeatedly. And I gotta say, Ken, one of many Windrunner stand-ins for this tournament have just been really making their presence felt. Great Shackle shots by him, and, well, they actually don't get Roshan. Maybe they're just gonna look for another gank here on the bottom lane, lurking in the wings. MUFC. Will this work?
And that's where they shine. I mean, they have the openings, they have the heroes to get the ganks. The thing they struggle with is dealing with the counter pushes. But right now, none of their lanes are really pushing in and need defending. So if they can get 1 or 2 kills at this bottom lane, it's going to be great for them. It looks like Brood going to run out too far in front. This could be, will be the end of rotk. He goes down. Zippo immediately retreating, and that's another kill. That's another opening. They're going to go for Roshan now on the back of this by the looks of things. Decide that they don't want to go for another Rax just yet. There's not really the possibility the middle top lane. So if they can get Roshan, deny it from Lycan, that's going to be MUFC really starting to pull away here.
Yeah, really patient play there by MUFC. Didn't even smoke up, but just knew that somebody was going to have to come to push out that bottom lane. Bided their time. As soon as somebody shows up, immediately they jump on the Broodmother. I believe actually that's a creep that got shackled there, but didn't matter in the end. Great play by them. Getting the pick off, and Ken, well, who's going to take the Aegis? He's almost got a Scythe of Vice. Not too far off of that Zippo. Try to contest this one, but they don't have the whole team. Meanwhile, they're going high ground on the bottom lane. Ravage hits on 2. Super blinked in, wanting to jack that one, and he's going to get picked up. Power shot there. Lycan Burning, chasing lane. This is not what he wants to do. He will get the kill, but what he really wants is this tower. Glitch still available. They should be able to defend, and maybe defend the Rax. Burning may get this at the cost of his life. TP coming back right now from the Prophet. Dropping low is longdd. Oh, Burning, trapped up by the trees, now shackled to his own Necronomicon minion. That one working against him, and Burning running for his life now. Does not get the Rex, does not stop the Roshan. And DK really crumbling here in the mid game. Urn comes out, Burning taking a lot of damage. Prophet all cleans him up. MUFC a little bit shaky there for a few moments, but looking really strong here. They take down the Rex, they take down the Roshan, and in a matter of minutes, they've now jumped out to about a 4,000 gold lead, which up against a Midas Broodmother and a free farm like it, that's a pretty good gold lead to have.
Oh yeah, and I mean just non-stop aggression coming out from MUFC. Whenever there's an opening to get some fights, get some kills happening, they'll take it. Then they'll look to deal with that split push afterwards. And they lost a tier 3 tower. They got back in time to take the Rax, and great fight overall at Roshan. The Ravage preventing Super from going for the Roshan Jack. He didn't even get down his Serpent. He just blinked in, got stunned, and died. So a bit of a misplay coming out from him, or more than anything, it was just a well-timed Tide Ravage. So it's MUFC still in control, still going to look to use this Aegis now on the Prophet to just win another fight and then go for another set of Raxes either at middle top lane.
And this is losing that Roshan for DK. It feels almost automatic a lot of times when you have a Lycan on the dire side, but it just wasn't this game. They got it the one time. That was great pressure on the bottom lane, set it up by rotk, and then Burning just ninjas it. But this time around, they lose a fight, they give up an Aegis, and that's a big advantage gone for them. Necro 3 picked up on Beastmaster. This Beastmaster pick has just been working wonders, and we're seeing one of the best heroes to counter Lycan. In his prime, doing a fantastic job. godzstudios just playing really well with the team, getting the pickoffs, and, well, we're also seeing another issue with this lineup. The two damagers are both melee, and up against a Windrunner, a Prophet, and Enchantress, especially with Beastmaster to lock heroes down for them. The double sight device being up as well. I'm not sure where these melee carries really find their openings. There's also there's no BKBs for them. So those sights are really gonna hurt. Oh, top lane, they blink in, they go for godzstudios. Probably gonna pick them off here. Double Necro Books being summoned. Oh, will it be enough though? godzstudios still alive, perhaps not the best hero to initiate on the shackle shot. It's gonna go the other way, and now burning on the back foot, running for his life. The impetus, a double sight device. One more imp will do the trick. No, instead it's longdd, who will almost certainly pay. Can he blink out? Red blink away. Oh, that was somebody else's blink. That was actually Net's. And godzstudios goes down. Net blinks in. Trapped up as RTK. DK just collapsing here, and they call the GG. MUFC not even expecting to be in the playoffs. Maybe not the most prepared for this match, or at least you would expect them not to be, but they're looking very strong. They take game 1, and we'll be heading into game 2 soon.
Yeah, that was a very strong performance. Even in the group stage, they finished last, but they had a very, very strong showing there. They had 1 win, 2 losses there. Their 2 losses, one of them was a 2-1 loss, one was a 2-0 loss. So they had pretty close matches, and they lost to some formidable teams, losing to DK and as well as losing to ING. So nothing really all that bad that happened to them in the group stage. It's just a really tough competition. The caliber of the teams here is something to be feared, and MUFC showing that they are up there with some of the best of them. They're going to put DK on the back foot going into game number 2.
There are really no easy wins in this tournament, especially not in the knockout bracket. And guys, this was just a game where it felt like one team just turned it on at the right time. I'm looking at the experience graph, I'm looking at the gold graph right now, and it was DK controlling the game, but only by slight lead. And that MUFC, that one big fight bottom, they get a bunch of kills, they turn it into a Rex, they turn it into a Roshan, and from there they just never look back. The graph definitely reflecting that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Beyond the Summit World Tour. I am LD, he is GoDz. We'll be heading into game 2 momentarily, so don't go anywhere, you won't want to miss that.